The Washington Wizards dropped a heartbreaker on Friday night at the Verizon Center. 118-116, they lost to the visiting New York Knicks in overtime. Washington had its chances, hit some game-tying shots in huge spots. Randy Foye from just inside the perimeter at 25 seconds to go, and then Nick Young with 6 seconds remaining in overtime hit a three-pointer to tie the game. But for Washington, it wasn't enough, as they couldn't get a big stop in the closing seconds. All-star power forward David Lee on the drive hit a layup over top of JaVale McGee, who actually had 5 blocks off the bench tonight to propel the New York Knickerbockers. You look back at this game, and you've got to be impressed with Washington's effort. They lost forward James Singleton, who actually started tonight in the first quarter. When he turned his ankle, he's not expected to miss much time. He said after the game that he tried to return but was held out by the training staff. The Wizards then additionally lost the services of a slew of other players based on foul trouble. Head coach Flip Saunders after the game said he tried to go small to counter what the Knicks were doing, and his small players had to foul. The result of that was Mike Miller, Quentin Ross, and Al Thornton all fouling out in the fourth quarter. So the Wizards in overtime, a team that already is less talented than most of the teams it's going to play and has to rely on hard work, had to turn to players who just haven't been playing much in Washington. Mike Harris, signed from the D-League this week, was on the floor in OT. So was a guy, Sean Livingston, a former 4th overall pick by the Clippers, who wasn't even on this team yesterday, signed today to a 10-day contract. Hasn't practiced with the team yet, but he was asked to inbound the basketball late in the ballgame. Actually had a turnover put on his area of the stat sheet because he couldn't get the ball in and wasn't able to call a timeout. Some stellar performances should be pointed out, though, for Washington. Again, Andre Bloch was a man amongst boys in the paint, and I've got to say, after last night's interview on The Fan, maybe he wants to do it every single night, because 26 points, a career high, 18 rebounds, and 6 assists, also a career high, for Andre Bloch were the result. So he got that 106.7 The Fan kiss. He did, however, turn the ball over 8 times. He said that he has to continue to practice and work on getting rid of the basketball when teams trap him or send a second defender his way. Something he's going to continue to see now as he's become the man offensively in Washington with so many key players now gone. Randy Foye may have played his best game with the Wizards. He scored 22 points, dished out 10 assists, had a low turnover rate, and for another evening, you saw just great decision-making from a guy who's doing a better job not dribbling too much and kicking the ball around the three-point line. Randy Foye said he's getting more comfortable, also said he still has a lot of work to do, but tonight didn't look that way, at least from the floor, where he was perfect in regulation, 8 of 8. Did end up going 0 for 3 in overtime. That hurt Washington. Foye said part of the reason why was that New York used a bigger defender, and that gave him some problems. Finally, important to point out that the Wizards got a great effort from JaVale McGee off the bench. Crazy day for McGee. He was late for shoot-around this morning, so he didn't get to start. He had to start the game on the bench, then responded pretty quickly when asked to come back into the game after James Singleton got hurt. Finishes the night with 18 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double. Also blocked 5 shots. His first 2 possessions in the game, he had a dunk and a block. Huge effort from a guy who, moving forward, will be asked to start at center for the Wizards, assuming he can show up on time. With the Wizards, for Sam Clems, Grant Paulsen saying so long. We'll join you again from the Verizon Center in 1 week, right here on 106.7 The Fan, DC.com.